Hey, Bayek, it's me, Ian. Well, I've been wanting to do this video and I've finally got around to doing it because it is my top 10 films of the 70s. The 1970s is my era, really. It's what I come from. It's what I grew up, a child, teenager, young adult. And the 70s are just some incredible films that I think a lot of people don't appreciate enough about the 70s. And blooming heck, I've missed some real corkers out here. I mean, I've been thinking about the films I've missed out. You know, like um, in horror, I've not included the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is such an influential film. I couldn't fit it in. I couldn't fit in so many, like 10 Rillington Place. There's loads of them. I could go on and on. But I won't. I better get on because you want to know what my list is. So, at number 10 is Straw Dogs. This is from 1971. Yeah, 1971. Wow. And it was a controversial film. Now, it's directed by Sam Peckinpah, who directed, well, the critically acclaimed Major Dundee from 1965, then the controversial Wild Bunch 1969, The Getaway 1972, Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, that's from 1973, Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia, 1974. And Cross of Iron. Wow, I love Cross of Iron. That was in 1977. Those are just some of films that I've just picked out that he directed. Now, this film stars Dustin Hoffman, and this is one of his best performances I've seen him. I love him in The Graduate. I think The Graduate is a film that I rate very, very highly. If I was into 1960s lists, The Graduate would be there. But Dustin Hoffman came over to film this, and he did a brilliant job. Dustin Hoffman, as I say, I mentioned The Graduate 1967. What a career. This is Midnight Cowboy, unforgettable performance. 1969, Papillon 1973, Marathon Man 1976, Kramer versus Kramer, which I think is a great film, 1979. Tootsie, of course, is well known for that, 1982. Rain Man. Oh, Rain Man, 1988, what a film. Outbreak, 1993. And those are not, these are just some of his highlights. And then we've got the wonderful Susan George. Susan George, I always feel, could have had an even bigger career. She did have a good career, but went more into TV in the end. But some of the films that she was in that I particularly like, she was, I think this could well have been one of her first films. It may not be, but it's very early. She was in The Sorcerers, 1967, which is Boris Karloff is in that, and it's a brilliant film. She was also in Up the Junction, 1968, which is a great kitchen sink drama film. And then, well, here it is. I've talked about this one before. She's in Spring and Port Wine, 1970. Wow, what a film. And it's got James Mason in it, and it's fantastic and should get a big Blu-ray release, but it hasn't. It hasn't yet. It might do sometime. Then we've got Fright, 1971, which is excellent. Fright is really good. And Venom, 1981. And say they're just a few of her films, but she's just a great talent. And then I'm not going to go into great detail, but you know, some of the supporting actors in this film, we've got Peter Vaughan, who's really good, and we got David Warner. Yeah, David Warner. He's in this. Brilliant. And we've got Sally Tomsett. Yes. Okay. Railway Children. I know we have to mention that. And Colin Whelan, who really became more known as a writer. But he's in this in a role, quite an important role. This film, it's it's like an home invasion film. It is an home invasion film, really. But they didn't have that sort of term or seen as a genre in that particular time. This is so brilliant, and of course the fact that the way it's filmed, and the scenery around it, and Cornwall and everything, it adds so much. And in the house, it's fantastic. Of course, it did come in to have a few problems. There's the notorious scenes which the British film censors were really worried about, and the cuts and not cuts. And also for me, this is an important film because I saw this when I was 12 years old at school. We had a film club. It did get shut down eventually because the art teacher was very much into films, and this was a film that he showed, and I loved it, and I've always loved it since then, and it's still with me, and I'm fantastic, brilliant. Now the next film, we've got a bit of sci-fi and quite a legend in this film. It is Soylent Green. This is from 1973. It's directed by Richard Fleischer, who directed The Vikings, 1958, Barabbas, 1961, Fantastic Voyage, 1966, The Boston Strangler, oh yes, 1968, Tora, 1970. He's the co-director of that with the Japanese one. Oh, I've forgotten his name. And of course, he directed, and I say, a film that probably should have been in here, but I just couldn't fit it in, which is 10 Rillington Place, 1971, where Richard Attenborough gives a brilliant performance. Oh, I'm almost regretting not putting it in, but I couldn't fit it in. And then Conan the Destroyer, 1984, and Red Sonja. Oh, Red Sonja, Bridget Nielsen. What a film that is. Quite a cult classic, I would say. So this film has the wonderful Charlton Heston. Charlton Heston, what an actor. I mean, and the periods that he covers. You know, there's loads of films, but the ones that we all remember, Ten Commandments, 1956. Ben-Hur, 1959. El Cid, 1961. Wow. Major Dundee, which was a massive, massive film for him. And then, of course, I think the film that I absolutely think is fantastic, Planet of the Apes, 1968. Wow. That is just quality. And then is in The Omega Man, which is another absolutely brilliant film, 1971. You see all these films in it, absolutely wonderful. Then, later, we've got Airport, 1975 is in that. He's in The Four Musketeers, I think playing Cardinal Richelieu, 1974. He's in Earthquake, oh, those disaster movies of the 70s, yeah, 1974. Again, perhaps I should have included one of those in like Towering Inferno or Earthquake, but I haven't. And then Midway. Oh, crikey. It's another great waffle. You see, I'm here. This is why I think about the 10 I've included, but I've got to stick by it. And this film also has Lee Taylor Young, who plays Shirl. She was in Looker, 1981, and Jagged Edge, which is a great thriller, 1985, and Slackers, 2002. And then I've got to mention it, it's Edward G. Robinson. The legendary Edward G. Robinson is in this film, and when you watch it, it's so poignant because he died not long after he made this film. And in this film, he's dying, and we see him on this journey into death. Wow, it just becomes more and more powerful. He must have known he was, not very well in this film, but he did it, and it just really, he makes the film even more powerful. The film really it's about a problem that was considered something that is still an issue. It's about feeding the world, the food, and Soylent Green, of course, is the one that is manufactured and used. there's a massive, massive secret behind Soylent Green, but I'm not going to give that away because if you've never seen that film, you've got to see this twist. It leaves you gobsmacked. It really does. That's what I'm going to say about that. This is a sci-fi film that is high quality, and sci-fi, when it does this, is just brilliant. Then the next one, some people may be surprised at this. This shows you how quality is, because you know how much I love this film. Look, here it is, Cromwell. Yeah, Cromwell. This is at number 8. And you know how I'm always going on. It was so difficult. I didn't know where to put this, but Cromwell, it's absolutely brilliant. And what can I say? This is directed by Ken Hughes, who mainly is, I suppose, we see him as a director of this film. And then it's the cast. The cast. We've got Richard Harris. Richard Harris is just such a great actor. So many great films. He goes back to Mutiny on the Bounty, 1962. Also, Major Dundee. He was in Major Dundee, which is the Charlton Heston connection. A Man Called Horse, of course, in 1970, and also The Return of a Man Called Horse, which was 1976. He was in Juggernaut, 1974. Orca the Killer Whale, 1974. Patriot Games, 1992. Unforgiven, 1992. Brilliant. Gladiator. I bet you didn't know that. He's in Gladiator. And then he's in the Harry Potter films from 2001 and 2002, playing Dumbledore. And he died, sadly, way too young again. But I suppose some would argue, the quality of films that he did, and it is such a loss. It was such a loss. His career still going he was when he died. In a great role as well. Fantastic. And this is a fantastic film. I've talked about it so much, but I do love it. Yeah, it's not historically accurate, but it doesn't matter. But then, of course, I've got to mention the other actor in this. How could I not think about this? Alec Guinness. You've got 2 brilliant actors here, and Alec Guinness plays Charles I. And he looks like Charles I. On the portraits that we've seen of Charles I, Alec Guinness is such a great actor. Where do you start with him? I mean, crikey. Going right back, I remember him as Fagin in Oliver Twist, 1948. And of course, he's in Kind Hearts and Coronets, 1949. The Man in a White Suit, some great Ealing films, 1951. The Lady Killers, 1955. Of course, The Lavender Hill Mob, 1951. Bridge Over the River Kwai, which is, wow, what a film and what a performance by him in that. He was also in, Tunes of Glory. I have mentioned that in 1960, which I think is a great comedy. Dr. Zhivago. He was in Dr. Zhivago in 1965. Lawrence of Arabia. How can I forget Lawrence of Arabia? He's in Lawrence of Arabia, which is just fantastic film. And what more can I say? It's Charles I. Is spot on. This film is brilliant. The battle scenes are fantastic, though I'd love a bit more. We get the first battle of the Edge Hill, which was a big important battle, but we don't get the decisive, in many ways, Marston Moor, which was 1644. But we get the final really big battle. I mean, it did still go on, but it was the end, really. Battle of Naseby, 1945. This film just is wonderful. Great performances, great period piece, and I just love it. Right. Okay, so the next one at number 7, The Godfather. This is from 1972. It's directed by Francis Ford Coppola, who directed, of course, The Godfather Part 2, which many consider better than this, as one of the greatest sequels. I personally still would just put this above The Godfather 2, but not that much, not that much. Of course, he was in Apocalypse Now, 1979. He was in The Outsiders, 1985. Rumblefish, 1983. He directed... Sorry, what's going on about... These are the directors of Francis Ford Coppola. See, I'm off it, aren't I? Yes, The Cotton Club, 1984. Oh, Peggy Sue Got Married, 1986. Francis Ford Coppola directed. Absolutely brilliant. Bram Stoker's Dracula, 1992, which a lot of people really enjoy, but for me, it never quite made it. And then recently, he did Megalopolis in 2024, which I think got rather mixed reviews, I think, about that. But this, of course, is dominated by one actor. That's why it's so iconic. It's Marlon Brando, who just gives such a great performance. Marlon Brando had a great career. On the Waterfront, which is a great film, 1954. Of course, I say Mutiny on the Bounce, he was playing just a brilliant role. Oh, absolutely, Mr. Christian. Last Tango in Paris, controversial film for the sexual scenes in it, 1972. He was in Superman, small role in that. I seem to do these small roles later on. Apocalypse Now, of course, 1979. He did The Freshman, 1990, and The Island of Dr. Moreau was one of his last films, I think. Yeah, great film. And then, of course, I got to mention the great Al Pacino. Al Pacino, just amazing actor. What a career. Still making films. Panic in Needle Park, 1971. Serpico, 1973, which is a film I saw at the same time as Straw Dogs at School. And then The Godfather, 1974, of course. No, Godfather 2. Obviously Godfather 2. And he takes over the film Godfather 2. He's just... Oh, wow. Godfather 2. Dog Day Afternoon, 1975. Cruising, 1980, which is quite controversial. Scarface, I think he's remembered a lot for Scarface, 1983. Sea of Love, 1989. He is in Godfather Part 3, 1990. Scent of a Woman, 1992. Carlito's Way, 1993, which is not a bad film, that one. Heat, well, with De Niro, what a film, 1995. Insomnia, which I think is great. Robin Williams in that one, 2002. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 2019 is in that. And The Irishman, of course, 2019. Al Pacino. And then, I'm not going to go into the others, but there's some great other actors, supporting actors that well known. James Caan is in it. Diane Keaton and Robert Duvall. Robert Duvall, another great actor. Oh, yeah, The Godfather. It just ticks all the boxes of one of the greatest gangster films. It really is. It's just up there with all the classics going right back to the 1930s. This is a wonderful film. Absolutely think it just spot on. Right, so the next film, well, I had to put this in because I think it's just an important film. It is Halloween from 1978, directed by, well, John Carpenter, a director who had a great run of films. Is there a better director in terms of runs of films? Maybe Spielberg. But John Carpenter had a great run. Maybe he's gone off a bit on the boil, but let's just talk about some of the films that he directed. Assault on Precinct 13. That was from 1976. Then The Fog, which I love The Fog. I think The Fog is absolutely brilliant. That's 1980. Escape from New York, 1981. See, all these films. The Thing, 1982. Christine. Oh, wow. Christine, a big favourite of mine. 1983. Starman. People forget about Starman. 1984. Big Trouble in Little China. 1986. Wow. Well, that's what I mean. All these are great films. Again, another film, it's got Donald Pleasance in it as well. Prince of Darkness, 1987. I love that one. And yet that one is the one that a lot of people don't get on with. I think it's great. And this, to me, is an absolute great run. And then the iconic They Live, 1988. I say iconic because all these people on YouTube seem to reference it as a film looking at conspiracy theories going on and that, but it is a great film. It is absolutely a great film. And another film I should mention as well, In the Mouth of Madness, 1994. Sam Neill, brilliant film. So that's John Carpenter's director. I mentioned him already. Donald Pleasance. Who doesn't love Donald Pleasance? One of the great actors who just has appeared in so many films. He was in The Great Escape, 1963. Fantastic Voyage, 1966. You Only Live Twice, my favourite Bond film from 1967, where he plays the best Blofeld I have seen. Absolutely brilliant. The Black Windmill, that's a spy film, Michael Caine, 1974. The Eagle Has Landed, of course, 1976. And of course, he popped up again, and quite importantly, in Halloween 2. And then Halloween 4. So 1981, Halloween 2. Halloween 4, 1988, Halloween 5, 1989, Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, 1995, and he just goes on and on. He made a lot of international films in his career. He just played, he just seemed to do all sorts of work. I mean, look at some of those Italian films he made. Absolutely brilliant. Donald Pleasance. Then I have to mention Jamie Lee Curtis. Wow, she, of course, I think this really established Jamie Lee Curtis. She was in The Fog. There we are, 1980, brilliant. She was in Prom Night, 1980. She was in Road Games, 1981. And, of course, she's in Halloween 2, 1981. Trading Places. Who doesn't love Trading Places? 1983. A Fish Called Wanda, 1988. Then she's in Halloween H2O 20 years later, 1998. Virus, 1999. Then she is in Halloween Resurrection, which is 2002. And Freaky Friday, 2003. Then she is in Halloween 2018. They brought back the Halloween trilogy. She's in 2018 one. She was also in Knives Out 2019. And then she was in Halloween Kills, which is 2021. And Halloween Ends 2022. They do get a lot of critics, but I quite enjoy those Halloween films again. I know they do get a lot of slam, but I enjoy it. And she was also, in more recent times, in Borderlands 2024, which I don't think got great reviews. But it's sort of one of these gaming films, so I don't really know much about it, but there we are. That's it. So, we've done that one. We're still going, blooming out, you're saying. Can I keep away? Well, the next film, I just had to include this. If there's anything that epitomises the 70s, and a lot of people are probably going, why haven't you chosen Jaws? You know, go on. That's well, everybody, it's predictable. I want to choose one that I watched this, I don't know how many times. I love this film. And there's various cuts to it as well. It is Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 1977. It's perfect. All the different cuts. It's directed by Spielberg, of course. Where'd you start with him? Duel, 1971, I'd say. Jaws, 1975, 1941, 1971, that is. Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981. E.T., yes, 1982, Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, 1984. The Colour Purple, really good one. 1985, Empire of the Sun, also another good one. Absolutely love that one. 1987, Indiana Jones and Last Crusade, 1987. Jurassic Park, of course, 1993. Schindler's List, masterpiece, 1993. The Lost, the next one, the Lost World Jurassic Park, 1997. Saving Private Ryan. See what I mean? All these films blowing out. 1998. A1, 2001. Minority Report, blooming out. 2002. War of the Worlds remake, 2005. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which didn't go down quite as well, 2008. And then Lincoln, 2012, is a biography that he did, and that is, wow, that is great. And he's done more, but I've just selected those. So, who stars in this? Richard Dreyfuss, brilliant. Of course, American Graffiti, 1973, Dillinger, 1973. But of course, he's well known for Jaws, 1975. Also, Down and Out in Beverly Hills, 1986. Poseidon, 2006. Red, 2010. Book Club, 2015. Astronaut, 2019. And then Terry Garr. She was in Young Frankenstein, 1974. The Black Stallion, 1979. Witch's Brew, 1980. Tootsie, yeah. 1982. Michael, 1996. And then just a few that I mentioned. And then I've got to mention an appearance by Francois Truffaut, who is the acclaimed French director. He's in this as well. Oh, this film, it just epitomizes all the excitement, and it's showing that aliens, how it could be that they were friendly, that they weren't a threat. And the filming is just incredible in this. Spielberg direction, the cinematography as well. Absolutely brilliant. And it's exactly what you want. It's so full of hope and optimism. It's a wonderful film. It is absolutely wonderful. What more can I say about it? But it's what the quality of the 70s. You must be thinking, oh yeah, perhaps the 70s, it's not all about the 80s. No, the 70s. I'm preaching. Okay, let's get on to the next one. And then the quality just carries on. The Wicker Man, 1973, directed by Robin Hardy, who directed The Fantasies. Not many he directed. And The Wicker Tree, 2011, which was a standalone sort of prequel. This stars Edward Woodward, brilliant actor. Beckett, 1964. Young Winston, 1972. The Callan film, 1974. Breaker Moran, which is a really good film, 1980. Who Dares Wins, 1982. Hot Fuzz is in that, 2007. But he's well known as TV series Callan, which ran from 1967 to 1972. Then we've got Christopher Lee. Where do you start with Christopher Lee? He is just superb. I could go through what I've tried and cut down, but obviously Dracula, 1958, we have to say it's there, brilliant. Hound of the Baskervilles, I love him in that, in 1959. The Mummy, 1959. Oh, crikey, I'm just going to skip some. There's so many. The Gorgon, I love The Gorgon. He's in that, 1964. The Skull, 1965. And, of course, Dracula, Prince of Darkness, which was just superb, 1966. These Hammer films. And Rasputin, of course, The Mad Monk, 1966. Then he was in all these Fu Manchu films, which they wouldn't make nowadays. But I love him in them. 1966, 1967. 1968 and 1969, I've got a box set of all those Fu Manchu films. They're brilliant. Theatre of Blood, which I've talked about and absolutely think is fantastic. And of course, I think perhaps one of the greatest Hammer films they made was The Devil Rides Out, 1968, which he has a prominent role in. Taste the Blood of Dracula, I think, is one of the great Dracula films that he did for Hammer. Horror Express is with Peter Cushing in that one, 1972. Crikey, Lord of the Rings. It pops up in 2001, 2002, 2003 as Saruman. And then, of course, he went into Star Wars Episode 2, with Attack of the Clones, 2002. Star Wars Episode 3, 2005. And then Revenge of the Sith, 2012. And he also popped up in The Hobbit in 2012 and 2014. And Christopher Lee, what a career. The films are just incredible. He is. What an actor. What a worker. He would take roles like nobody's business. Anyhow, The Wicker Man is just superb. If you like folk horror, this is the one for you. The brilliant, the outsider that Edward Woodward plays in this community, where they're all very close and we know things are going on, and it is brilliant. The film, the style, there's some music in it, which is just fantastic. This film is a masterpiece. It's just horror. It's never been done better, and in such an interesting, different way. Oh, wow, what a film. Crikey. Now, we're on number 3 in my list. And this is Star Trek, the motion picture. This is from 1979, and it's directed by Robert Wise. Robert Wise had a magnificent career. One of his first films was The Curse of the Cat People, which is absolutely superb, 1944. Day the Earth Stood Still, which again is recognised as a great film. The Desert Rats, 1953. And then West Side Story, yeah, not my cup of tea, but yeah. The Haunting, 1963. The Sound of Music, yes, he directed The Sound of Music, 1965. The Sand Pebbles, 1966. The Andromeda Strain, 1971. The Hindenburg, disaster movie period, 1975. And Audrey Rose, 1977. What a director. And this is one, for me, this is perhaps the most cinematic Star Trek film you're ever going to get, and why it's perhaps my favourite. It is a beautiful film. It's fantastic. I won't go through it. I'll just say William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, DeForest Kelley, James Doohan, Walter Koenig, Nichelle Nichols, George Takei. Oh, yeah, they're all in it. And it was so good to see the excitement of me going to the cinema when this came out was unbelievable. The cast I'd been watching, loved the TV series, and then we'd been waiting, and there they were. And we're all going, God, they look old now. But they were fantastic. And what a film. I loved it. We had Stephen Collins, who plays Decker. He was in All the President's Men, 1976. Brewster's Millions, 1985. The First Wives Club, he was in that one. And various TV series and TV films. And I better not mention him anymore because just look him up. I think that I would say no more about that. And then we had Paris Kimbata, who played Ilya. She was in The Willoughby Conspiracy, 1975. Nighthawks, 1981. She-Wolves in the Wasteland, 1985. There's just a few films. And again, a lot of TV series and TV films. This film is just brilliant. It's Star Trek all coming out of retirement to save the world. Yes, from Vija. Oh, well, that's what it seems to be. I think Vija. It's sending this message, and it's descending upon the Earth, and it's, danger. We've got to go and save the world. And the Enterprise, yes. Wow. This is great. What a film. I could go on and on, but I better stop now. But this is, if you've not seen this film, a lot of people, there are people say, Wrath of Khan's best one. Nay, this one. This is the one. Wrath of Khan, a great film it is, but this one really brings it home. What a beautiful film it is. Brilliant. Then, well, number 2. I suppose this was inevitable if you know, but it's The Exorcist. This could have easily have been number 1. This is from 1973, directed by William Friedkin, who directed The French Connection, 1971, Sorcerer, 1977, Cruising, 1980, To Live and Die in LA, 1985, Rules of Engagement, 2000, The Hunted, 2003, Book, 2007. There's just a few films of his, but this is the one. This is the one. It is absolutely brilliant. It stars, of course, Linda Blair, who's just fantastic. She was in Airport 1975, which came out in 1974. Victory at Entebbe 1976. She was in Exorcist 2, The Heretic 1977, which is notoriously bad. Hell Night 1981. Chained Heat, exploitation film, 1983. Ready, 1985. Moving Target, 1985. Dead Sleep, 1990. She got involved definitely in these kind of films. Scream, of course. It's an uncredited appearance, but she's actually in the original Scream, 1996. And of course, she was in Exorcist Believer as a cameo role. That's from 2003. Then we've got Ellen Bernstein. She was in The Last Picture Show, 1971. Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, 1974. She was in Requiem for a Dream, 2000. She was in Interstellar, 2014. The Age of Adeline, 2015. Lucy in the Sky, 2019. Yeah. They're just a few that I've just mentioned. And then a couple of other actors. I'm not going to go through them, but we've got Max von Sydow and Lee J. Cobb. Brilliant. This film, it's just absolutely. Look at that image there. The film is fantastic. It had people all going mad about it. It had loads of publicity. Controversial, ban it, people supposedly, they really built the hype up. You look at it now, it's brilliantly photographed, and the scenes with Regan when she's possessed are absolutely fantastic. It doesn't seem now, I think if you've seen lots of films, it doesn't seem quite the impact it must have had at the time, because people at that time they didn't know about the exploitation films. They didn't see them, so they hadn't reached mainstream. Well, they hadn't seen Italian horror films. No, they didn't know about it. But this one, really, Hollywood was now showing this kind of horror. And wow, brilliant. And then finally, I suppose it's inevitable that I would choose this one because it is an absolute masterpiece. It is up there with Exorcist, but I just have to put it just ahead. It's Suspiria. How can I not have Suspiria in the 70s as my number 1 choice? Directed, of course, by Dario Argento. The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, 1970. Cat o' Nine Tails, 1971. Four Flies on Grey Velvet, 1971. Deep Red, brilliant. Deep Red, 1975. Inferno, 1980. Tenebrae, 1982. Opera, which I love, 1987. Two Evil Eyes, 1990. And Mother of Tears, 2007. And there's a lot of films that I've just skipped over that he directed. Great Italian director. This film stars Jessica Arpa. She was in Love and Death, 1975. Stardust Memories, 1980. Safe, 1995. Minority Report, 2002. And she was in a cameo role in the remake of Suspiria in 2018. Bows and All, 2022. Night Bitch, 2024. Fantasy Life, 2025. We also had Stefania Cassini. She was in The Cousin, 1974. Blood of Dracula, 1974. She was in 1900, which is a sort of epic Italian film. Brilliant film. Goes on for about, I think it's in 2 parts or 3 even. It's a massive art house film, kind of, I think we'll call it. She was in The Bloodstained Shadow, 1978. The Alley of a Architect, 1987. Downed the Day I Met You, 1992. That is the cast of Suspiria. Suspiria is just a brilliant film. It has everything that you would expect. It looks absolutely fantastic. The Goblin soundtrack is fantastic. The atmosphere, direction, cinematography. This makes this a masterpiece. It's a story of a dance academy where we get a bit of witchcraft going on, and it's run by witches and all that stuff. And Argento just directs this beautifully. It's just wonderful. What a masterpiece this is. And that is my top number 1 film from the 1970s. What more can I say? If you've not seen this, where have you been? You've got to watch this. If you want to see a really good, our film should be made. And it's from the 70s. Yes, I told you, 70s, best for music and best for films. Yes. So, that's it. Hope you've enjoyed it. Now, if you like this, please give it a like. It gets it out onto YouTube, and hopefully other people might enjoy it. Also, if you want to see other things that I've done, look in the playlist. You can see all the playlists. And if you've not subscribed, well, why not consider subscribing? That would be great if you subscribe. And then we'll let you know when I put out the videos. And I have gone on far too long. So all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.